All right, we're back for our daily NBA predictions here on Sunday, January 19th. We've got 7 games in the NBA today, and headlined by, I think, the Battle of Los Angeles. Obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Los Angeles Clippers for the first time in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. They turn around the Intuit Dome yesterday, obviously hosting UFC, to today, Clippers, Lakers. It doesn't get much better than that. Two teams that are playing, decent basketball season, obviously. The Clippers being currently the 5 seed, the Lakers being the 6 seed. So we've got that and more today for you in the NBA. But folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our daily college basketball best bets. Now, for tomorrow, with it being Martin Luther King Day, the college basketball predictions or best bets will still be out like today at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and our NBA predictions will be out at 8 a.m. Pacific at 11 a.m. Eastern, because the first game, I believe, starts tomorrow at noon Eastern. So make sure to check out that video tomorrow, obviously. And also, go make sure to check out our college football predictions, obviously, this week with the national championship game tomorrow. Notre Dame, Ohio State. We predicted that game yesterday. Link is in the description down below, along with our NFL predictions, obviously. We've got 2 games today, 2 big games, one in Philadelphia between the Eagles and the Rams, and obviously the big game of the night, Lamar versus Josh Allen, the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. Joe Burrow, but still, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season go at it today, obviously in Buffalo. We have that game predicted and more in the link down below, the description down below. Okay, on to the first of our 7 NBA games for today. We go to the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs in Miami, Florida. Give me the Heat in this spot. I don't know. Is Jimmy Butler playing? Jimmy Butler's going to keep playing. Pat Riley's telling that dude, hey, lace up your damn shoes and go play the basketball game. I mean, from what we've heard, the Shams report was that Jimmy Butler doubled down on his trade request, and yet he's still playing. I guess the Heat have either not found a suitor for Jimmy, or Pat Riley is the only competent GM/president in the National Basketball Association, and he's saying, hey, I don't give a damn. Go play. Go play. Miami's on a 3-game losing streak, right? Losses on the road in Los Angeles to both the Clippers and the Lakers. They lose the Nuggets in Jimmy's return. Jimmy looked real enthused to be there, by the way. And they're taking on the Spurs here, a Spurs team that has dropped back-to-back games, losses to the Grizzlies, and, back-to-back games both to Memphis. They beat the Lakers in Los Angeles, but, the Lakers are just the Lakers sometimes. And the Spurs have lost 5 out their last 6, with, of course, their only win being Los Angeles, but their losses, Chicago, Milwaukee, Denver, Memphis, again with the Lakers win sandwiched into there. I think the Heat should be able to get this one done. Wembanyama hasn't been all that impressive since the Lakers game. Obviously, that's just how that goes, right? Wemby, obviously, though, is still their leading scorer, still the guy around here in San Antonio. But we'll see how he matches up with Bam Adebayo in this game. And Tyler Hero, obviously, has been a very good scorer. He's been a premier scorer in this league this year. And I'm interested to see what we get out of Jimmy Butler. I mean, because Jimmy in the Spurs game, it puts up 18 points in 33 minutes. Not a bad night, obviously, for Jimmy Butler. He's kind of gone into this role that he's assumed this year, obviously, with Tyler Hero being the primary scorer, and Jimmy's just been there to help him out, which obviously, again, if Jimmy gets traded to a team like Memphis or, I guess, Golden State, that's kind of what Jimmy's going to be. But again, I just don't know what Jimmy Butler's, who's going to trade for Jimmy Butler? Just genuinely. I mean, I think Memphis is probably the best fit, maybe a team like Houston, but I don't know. Who else would trade for Jimmy? Out of the contending teams, I don't know. Detroit, potentially, but is Detroit putting together a package to go out there and get Jimmy? Probably not. I don't know. Milwaukee? Is Milwaukee really going to go get Jimmy Butler? Probably not. I don't know. I really don't know. Regardless, in this game, give me Miami. I know they've lost 3 in a row, but the game's in Miami, and I think the Heat turn it around. The Spurs haven't been hot at all. They've lost 5 of 6, and I think the Heat get it done. So give me Miami with the whole Jimmy Butler thing. Yes, I'm still taking the Miami Heat to win at home in this spot and cover the 3.5 points against the San Antonio Spurs. To our next game, we go to the other game in Florida today. We go a little bit up north, a couple hours up north to Orlando for the Orlando Magic and the Denver Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets on the road. Denver's somewhat healthy now. Jokic is probable to play this game. Same can be said about Aaron Gordon. They are both probable. And for the Magic, they're just dealing with so many injuries. They are going to get better very soon because Franz Wagner is going to come back, and that's only going to benefit this Magic team. But they have a huge list of injuries for tonight. Well, no Jalen Suggs, no Gary Harris, no Goga Bitadze, and then Jet Howard questionable as well. I guess, eventually it's, we always said this year, Orlando's been able to deal with the injuries. Well, I guess it's finally catching up to them, for being honest. Now, Paolo Banchero is back, and, Paolo's trying everything in his power to keep this team afloat. And Cole Anthony's done a great job. Wendell Carter's been pretty good. Jonathan Isaac is great as always. But again, Orlando's lost 5 of 6, very similar, 4 of 5, just like, or very similar to their other Florida NBA squad, obviously in the Miami Heat. The only victory being against a lowly Philadelphia 76ers team, which we will get to in a little bit. Actually, they're the next game, and again, we'll get to Philadelphia. They're a joke right now. But again, Orlando, 4 of 5 losses, losing at home back-to-back spots against the Timberwolves and the Bucks. They beat the 76ers by 5 points, and they lose back-to-back games on the road to Milwaukee and Boston. And ultimately, those games just weren't all that competitive, and Orlando's been dealing with those injuries, obviously, with their 2-game road trip. I'd expect them to struggle as well. They're back in town in Orlando for 1 game before they go back on the road to Toronto, and then they come back home again to play Portland and Detroit. Who made this schedule? Just a very weird schedule. And they go back on the road again for a whole week to the West Coast. It's a weird schedule for the Magic, but I guess you're always going to get some odd travel when you're playing down in Florida, I guess. Give me the Nuggets in this spot. Again, Jokic is, a top 5 player in the league. Obviously, you could make the case he's number 1, sure, but Jamal Murray's been really excellent as of late, and that's only going to help out the Nuggets. I mean, that's kind of what Denver's been missing this year, is literally anybody else contributing other than Nikola Jokic, because again, Jokic is averaging basically a triple-double, and it's just, Jamal's looked bad this year, let's just be honest, but in 3 straight games, Jamal Murray has led the Nuggets in scoring, 45 one night, 22 the other, and 30, obviously the game with 22 points they lost. That was without Jokic against the Rockets, but again, that win in Miami the other night was huge. Jokic obviously puts up a triple-double, Murray with 30 points. Again, if we get anything similar to that in this game for Denver, they should go into Orlando and win. With, again, the slew of injuries that the Magic have, I just think it's going to be difficult for them. Give me the Denver Nuggets on the road in Orlando, Florida. They'll win the game outright, and they will cover the 6.5 points as well. Next up, we go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Milwaukee Bucks and these aforementioned Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia is just a joke right now, guys. They're just a joke. I remember, again, for a long time this year, we're talking about, hey, if Philly just puts together a little bit of a run, they are going to be in a spot likely where, regardless of how bad they started the season, they will find their way to the play-in. I don't know if that's possible still, but you know what? The way the East has been playing, it's very possible that Philadelphia will still find themselves in the 10 spot. And that's why, do we really need 10 teams in the play-in or 10 teams with an opportunity at the end of the year to win an NBA championship? No, we don't. But Philly, they're 15-25 guys, and they're still only 2 games out of the play-in. It helps. They're on a 5-game losing streak, but at the same time, the Chicago Bulls are on a 4-game losing streak. Now, Chicago goes to Portland today, and we'll get to that game in a little bit. It's a very good spot, I think, for the Chicago Bulls, if we're being honest. But Philadelphia still finds themselves 2 games out of the postseason, or out the play-in, and, when Joel Embiid eventually decides to play basketball, I think they are going to be somewhat better, but Philly's coming off the second half of a back-to-back, and this is just going to be a really tough spot for them. Again, we said that Tyrese Maxey was going to need to have a huge night for Philadelphia like he had earlier in the season in Indiana to taking on the Pacers, and he did have a decent night, but again, Indiana, who's been real hot to start 2025, was just too much for Philly. Again, Indiana winning that basketball game by 13 points. Good win for Indiana. They've now climbed to 5th in the Eastern Conference. Again, shout out to the Hawks. Both teams in Indiana and Atlanta, we've been super high on this year, and it's finally paying off. 5-6 right now in the Eastern Conference. And Milwaukee's 4. And the Bucks have been really good recently, obviously. 3 straight wins. They end the Kings winning streak. They beat the Magic. They beat Toronto. They've won now 6 of 7 after their real confusing way to end 2024 and start 2025. Those losses to the Nets and the Bulls and the Nets again. The Blazers, well, they have fully, gotten it together beating the Raptors, beating the Spurs, beating the Magic, losing that game in New York to the Knicks, but then bouncing back and beating the Kings, Magic, and Raptors in back-to-back games, and they're still at home to take on the 76ers. They've got a bunch of injuries, but it's a bunch of guys who I'd expect to play, like AJ Green questionable, Andre Jackson, I think these guys will play. I think Chris Middleton's probable, obviously, will play the basketball game as well. I'd expect the Bucks to win Philadelphia's second half of a back-to-back. They've got all these injuries, no Joel Embiid, obviously, Yabusele probably out, Kyle Lowry probably out, Caleb Martin likely out, and Paul George now is probably not going to play. I don't think. He's questionable. Didn't play the Pacers game. We'll see if he plays this one. There's just too many things surrounding the 76ers for me to pick them to cover 10.5 points. Milwaukee's just the better team, and I think the Bucks get this one fairly easily. So give me Milwaukee at home to win the basketball game and cover the 10.5 points as well. Next up, we go to Oklahoma City. We've got the OKC Thunder at home against the Brooklyn Nets. I'll start this off by saying don't bet on this game. Okay, again, I predict every single game on the schedule every single day. So again, I'll give you my pick for every game, but I wouldn't personally bet this one. Oklahoma coming off their 7th loss of the season to the Dallas Mavericks the other night. It's what happens when Shea doesn't play. And people want to talk about Shea as he's not the most valuable player in the league. Watch what happens when Shea's not on the court. I'm just saying, this guy isn't the most valuable player to his team. I get the Jokic argument, but they still have Jamal Murray. OKC, again, what is Shea doing? Look at what Shea's doing without Chet, without Hartenstein. He's beating the Cavaliers. Shea likely returns to the spot against the Brooklyn Nets, but I could really see a world where he doesn't play this game either, because this is a game that OKC, if Shea is, somewhat, relatively injured with that wrist injury right now, this is a game OKC will easily win without Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Shea not play against Brooklyn tonight, which at the same time, I wouldn't feel confident covering the 17.5 points like that. But if Shea does play, I would expect the Thunder to cover the 17.5 point line. Hell, look how many points they beat the Cavs by. They beat them by 20. They beat Washington, another poor team like Brooklyn. They beat them by 40 points. So again, if Shea's in the lineup, hell, they went to New York and beat them by 25. So if Shea's in the lineup, expect the Thunder to cover this line. If he's not, I can't confidently tell you they cover 17.5 against Brooklyn, but I think this line drops to about 13.5 if SGA doesn't play. And then, okay, yeah, I probably will take Oklahoma City to still cover that line off the backs of likely a big Jalen Williams performance. Again, Chet Holmgren's still a couple weeks away. I don't know if Shea's playing this game or not. That's why, personally, I wouldn't touch this game. But Brooklyn had a weird West Coast trip. This is the final game of a very long trip for Brooklyn. They've been on the road since January 10th. Been a 10-day road trip for them, and obviously the first half of their 2 games in Los Angeles, they lose and put up the lowest scoring effort in the last 10 years in the NBA with only 67 points. And then they go to the crypto. They go to the crypto. I'm just gonna call it. They go to Staples Center, and they lose the game by only 1 point to the Lakers. It's what happens sometimes with Los Angeles. Hell, D'Angelo Russell had a shot to win the game at the very end, but still Los Angeles holds on, and a win is a win. We don't care about the final score. So the Lakers, again, we're coming off a win now going into the Clippers game. But we'll get to that. I think that's the next game. It is. So we'll get to that in a minute. We'll see what Brooklyn we get. I think, again, you always see teams play inspired basketball against the Lakers. It is what it is. I mean, these guys playing against LeBron James, and it's just you're in Los Angeles, and no, you're not in Inglewood. You're in, you're on Figueroa Street in Los Angeles. It's a big time game. Any Lakers night game feels like a big game in Los Angeles, obviously. So again, the Nets showed up for that one. Are they going to show up for the final game of their road trip in OKC against the best team in basketball? Likely not. Again, I think the spread's dependent on if Gilgeous-Alexander plays. That's why I'd stay away. But as of now, if Shea plays, I'd take -17.5, and I'd expect this line to move to -13.5 if SGA doesn't play. I'd still take it, but I wouldn't bet it personally. I think there's better games to bet on. So give me OKC in this spot. Obviously, they beat Brooklyn with or without SGA. It's a matter of the spread. We'll see on that. To the biggest game of the night. It's not even on national television. Just crazy. NBA, what are we doing here? I'm glad the NBA is going back to NBC. That's going to be beneficial to the game. Hopefully they get more time slots. But guys, the Ravens and the Bills play at 3:30 today. Okay? That game will be over by 6:30. 7 at the latest. This Lakers-Clippers game starts at 6. You could have easily scheduled this at 7, but fine, leave it at 6. Why isn't this game on national television? It's on NBA TV, whoop-de-doo. ESPN wouldn't take this game. TNT wouldn't take this game. I get it. They have only certain nights. I understand that. But I think the NBA loses out on a lot on the weekends. And obviously, again, as the year goes on, they're going to play these games on an ABC during the day, obviously, once the NFL's over. But it's just, you get Lakers-Clippers for the first time in the Intuit Dome. I think it would be somewhat of a bigger deal. It's the first time the Lakers and Clippers have played outside of Staples Center in, how many years? Since the Lakers were still in the Forum. Or when the Clippers weren't playing in, were they playing? They were not playing USC. I forget where the Clippers played before Staples. But again, it's been a very long time since the Lakers and Clippers have played outside of Staples. And now here you go, they're playing in the Intuit Dome. I'd imagine the Clippers will get up for this game. Well, any team gets up to play the Lakers. I'd imagine the Clippers will get somewhat of a fan base here, but guys, this is going to be a majority Lakers crowd. Usually these games are always majority Lakers crowds, except for The Wall. But, these Lakers fans have never been in the Intuit Dome. It's a pretty cool arena, obviously. You saw that last night watching UFC. Shout out Merab Dvalishvili. But, I think Lakers fans will go to this game, and I think it's going to be a Lakers-heavy crowd. Believe it or not, the winner of this game will be in sole possession of first place in the Pacific Division, of course, in the West. Obviously, again, divisions don't mean anything in the NBA, but that's something to note, obviously. The Lakers, again, the 6th seed in the Western Conference, the Clippers, the 5 seed, and you know what? Give me the Lakers. Give me the Lakers. I think they go and win this game. I think they'll rise to the occasion if Anthony Davis plays, which is a big if. That's why the Lakers are sitting at plus 140 right now. I think AD plays. He did not play against Brooklyn, and you saw how that game turned out. Sure, the Lakers picked up the victory, but my goodness, it was difficult. LeBron's probable. LeBron's been playing a lot this season. We'll see. We'll see if AD gives it a go. If Davis plays this game, I do really like the Lakers. I think Davis can have a big night against Zubac. I think he can. The Clippers are dealing with some of their own injuries. Guys, all these guys are playing. You're telling me James Harden's not playing against the Lakers because of an illness? He's playing. Zubac is not sitting this game out with lower back soreness. He's questionable. He's going to play. Norman Powell is questionable with lower back soreness as well. Guys, if I've learned anything, being a Los Angeles Lakers fan my entire life, players don't miss games against the Los Angeles Lakers. They just don't. They don't. They always find a way to play. No matter how injured they are, they find a way to play. So, it is what it is. The Clippers, when you're picking against the Clippers, it's frustrating to watch. When you're picking them, it's great. But it's just, these guys pull their devil magic out their ass. They cook up the Chiefs' sorcery, and they hit every damn shot from beyond the arc. Norman Powell has been an all-star this season. Will he actually get the nod? I don't know. He should. He's been great this year. And obviously, Kawhi Leonard is back. We'll see how much of an impact Leonard will have in this game. But ultimately, give me the Los Angeles Lakers. Yep, give me the Lakers to win. I think Los Angeles goes in here, and I think Davis has a big night, and I think LeBron has a big night as well. I really think Los Angeles, they're both Los Angeles. I really think the Lakers can come in here and have a big impact in this game. I think so. These two teams have not played this season yet, right? They have not played a crypto yet. No. The Lakers they played 2 games I was going to say, I only saw 2 games on the schedule. They played back-to-back late February and in March as well. Give me the Lakers in the spot. Again, I think the Clippers, they're going to have a lot of open threes. This is how the Lakers play defense. But, guys, you got to give a lot of credit to Austin Reeves. Reeves with 38 points, 39 points the other night against Brooklyn. Yes, it was a night to forget for Los Angeles, but AR with 38 points. Again, Reeves has really rose to the occasion this season. He's been a big-time player for Los Angeles. And I think AR has a big night as well. Again, I think the Lakers show up for this game. Again, the last regular season game the Lakers played this season that felt like a marquee game was Christmas against the Warriors, and they won it. It was a close game, but the Lakers won it. I think that this is another type of game where it's a big regular season game, and I just think the Lakers show up. So give me Los Angeles here on the road against the Clippers. They go to Inglewood, and I think they take care of business as plus money dogs, and obviously getting 3.5 points as well. I like the Lakers to go into Inglewood and come out with the victory. To our next game, we go to Portland, Oregon. The Chicago Bulls on a 4-game losing streak go to the Moda Center to take on the Trailblazers. It's a spot where I like the Bulls. I understand they've lost 4 in a row. It was the Lonzo versus LaMelo game the other night in Charlotte. It was in Chicago, where the Hornets actually won. So again, Chicago's been really bad recently. but they're taking on a Portland team that's lost 5 in a row, and a Portland team that's been dealing with injuries and on a second night of a back-to-back. So DeAndre Ayton didn't play the first half of the back-to-back against the Rockets yesterday. Expect him to play. Denny Adjiva, we'll see, hasn't played in a while. Donovan Clingan is going to be out for a while, so we'll see. Again, Jeremy Grant is back in the lineup now. Big whoop-de-doo for Portland. But besides their guard play, I don't think all that highly of Portland. It's just, again, they got Simons, they got Sharp, they got Scoot, who's progressively been playing better and better this season. But Portland will not blow you away. I think Chicago is going to be able to outshoot them. Again, the way you beat Chicago is by beating them in a shootout. I don't think Portland's capable of that. I just don't think they are. This is a game that the Bulls, I think, can win. They've got a lot of guys injured, but a lot of guys who are injured and likely going to play. Zach LaVine probable. Lonzo Ball questionable. THT questionable. I think some of these guys will give it a go. I expect LaVine and Lonzo to play. And I think the Bulls, again, as long as LaVine is playing, the Bulls will be fine. Again, I just don't think the Trailblazers have the skills to outscore Chicago. Again, I'm saying this like it's some, crazy concept. Oh, you have to get into a shootout with Chicago and beat them. No, a lot of teams are able to do it. It's actually fairly easy to, go in there and not play defense and just beat the Bulls. A lot of teams do it. I just don't think Portland's all that capable of doing that. I think Chicago comes into Portland, and I think they win the game and cover the 5.5 points as well here against the Blazers. Sorry, 4.5 points. Give me Chicago. To our final game of the night. The Sacramento Kings take on the Washington Wizards. Could be Washington plus 16.5 here. Obviously, Sacramento's going to win the basketball game, but yeah, I'll take Washington plus 16.5. They're coming off only an 8-point loss to the Warriors last night. They get Sacramento. Sorry, not Sacramento. They get Phoenix at home. They only lose by 7. They only lose by 14 to the Wolves, so they'd cover this line as well with that. Honestly, again, the Wizards have covered this line 3 straight games. They're not going to win, obviously. Washington has 3 wins all season long, but I do think they're able to cover this line. Jordan Poole returns to San Francisco as a big night, drops 38. I get it, second half of a back-to-back, but again, 16.5 points, it's a lot. Sacramento, they're going to win. They're coming off that grueling victory on TNT the other night against the Houston Rockets. And yes, Sacramento is now back over 500. They are 21-20. And Sacramento's playing good basketball, and I anticipate them obviously to win this game. But I think, again, Washington, 16.5 points just feels like a lot. Again, would I bet it? No, I never bet huge lines like this with NBA. I will with college basketball. Shout out the UCI Anteaters last night for covering 15.5 for us against Cal Poly. But I just wouldn't bet it with the NBA. Too many variables, too many different things can happen. But again, if you're going to push me for a pick, which obviously this is what this video is about, I will take Washington plus 16.5. But obviously, again, the Kings will win the game with it being at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. So Washington covers, Kings win. And folks, that'll do it for our NBA predictions here on January 19th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you for watching, and Mamba forever.